I'm showing you the easy way to cut bias strips for the rug. I'm going to make 1-inch bias strips. I start with making a rectangle that is twice as long as it is wide, so it makes a square when it's folded in half. And I'm squaring it up here and making sure that it's square. Here you can see I have 2 layers, and it makes a nice rectangle. And this is essential that I have a square when I start to make the bias strips. So I fold my rectangle in half so it's in a square. And then I fold it in a triangle on the bias so that I can smooth it out and press with my hands to make a line on the bias. So when I open it up, then I can see where I had the fold, and I'm going to put a chalk line from corner to corner on this square. So I start at one corner, follow my line that I put in for the crease, and make a chalk line. There we go. That's going to be good enough. Now I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew the 3 open sides and up to the fold, and keep the fold as one of the seam lines. Then you can see I have 2 layers that are completely sewn together. I make a little snip on my chalk line, slip my scissors in, and cutting just 1 layer from corner to corner. I just make sure that I don't cut the bottom layer, just one. Clear over to the corner. And then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to finish cutting that line back to the other corner. Now when I open it up, it's kind of like a pillowcase kind of thing, where I have my edges now, that where the edges of the square are the bias. So I smooth it out, make sure that I flatten it out, and I have 2 layers. Now I'm going to take and put a chalk line about 2 inches down from the top of one of the folds. And this is really important because I don't want to cut into that fold area, and I'll show you why. So I bring the bottom part of my rectangle up to near that fold line, about 1 inch or so from the fold line, smooth it out, and then I'm going to cut 1-inch strips. You can cut your strips however wide you want to for your rug. But as you can see, I'm just going to make sure that they're cut free here. It's kind of hard to get started, but there we go. Then I'm just going to continue on that same way of cutting my strips to the same width all the way up, only to that line, but not into that chalk line. I think I need to sharpen my roller cutter, but that's okay. And we just continue on this, making these strips until we get to the magic part. You can press these with a bias folder if you want, but I don't. Now when I get to the last end, I just trim off the last part of anything that's left that doesn't measure out to be a full stripe. Then I slip my hand into that folded area, and with all those strips hanging down, looks kind of like a car wash. There we go. There's my area that I didn't cut through. Slip my hand in there, and this is the important part. You need to take your scissors from the edge, from the end of your starting point, and angle your scissors from the edge up to that first strip, between that first strip. And that becomes your starting point for your strips. Now, I'm going to bring my scissors into the hole between the next strips, cut through the uncut area to its corresponding strip. And I continue with the same process all the way across. So I look for my strip, angle my scissors up to the hole in the next strip, cut across that area, let it fall off of my hand. The next one up to this hole between the strips, put it off my hand. Same with the next one. And so on. And I just keep snipping those strips through that uncut area. Now when I get to the last one, I just cut it over to the edge because it doesn't have a corresponding strip. Now I have one long piece of 1 inch bias strip for weaving in my rug. And I check and make sure it's continuous because I've used a zigzag on those and a small stitch on my edging of sewing those 2 layers together. My seams are going to hold pretty well while I weave the rug. And that's it.